My dear friends, today I want to talk about something that is more than just a dream. It is a way of living. Deep inside, everyone has that hidden desire to feel powerful, respected, and free, just like a king. But here's the truth. You don't need a palace, a golden crown, or millions in the bank to live like one. Living like a king is not about luxury alone. It's about mindset, self-respect, and the choices you make every single day. Think about it. A real king isn't just someone who rules over people. A true king rules his own mind, his emotions, and his habits. He stands with confidence, speaks with clarity, and walks with dignity. He knows when to be firm and when to show kindness. That is the kind of lifestyle you can build for yourself, right here, right now. When you live like a king, you live with discipline, with vision, and with courage. You don't chase respect, you attract it. You don't wait for opportunities, you create them. And most importantly, you learn to enjoy life in a way that is meaningful and fulfilling. So stay with me as we unlock the secrets to living like a king. Not in someone else's castle, but in your very own life. Step 1. Master your mindset, the crown within. When people imagine a king, the first thing that comes to mind is usually the crown. That shining symbol of power, status, and leadership placed on the head of the ruler. But let's pause and think about it. What really makes that crown valuable? It's not just the gold or the jewels. It's the mind of the person who wears it. Without the right mindset, a crown is nothing more than a heavy piece of metal. With the right mindset, however, a king can rule with wisdom, courage, and authority. That's why the very first step in living like a king is to master your mindset. Your mind is your inner kingdom. It is the place where your beliefs, emotions, and choices begin. If that kingdom is weak, full of fear, negativity, and doubt, then no matter how much money you earn or how much success you achieve, you will never truly feel like a king. On the other hand, if your mind is disciplined, positive, and strong, you can face any challenge and still stand tall with dignity. Now, how do you master your mindset? It begins with understanding the power of your thoughts. Every single day, you are telling yourself a story in your mind. Sometimes that story is uplifting. I can do this. I am capable. I will achieve great things. But other times the story is full of doubts. I'm not good enough. I always fail. People don't respect me. That inner story shapes the way you act, and the way you act shapes the life you live. So if you want to live like a king, you must rewrite the story you tell yourself. Kings don't say, I can't. They say, I will find a way. Kings don't spend their days complaining about problems. They focus on finding solutions. This doesn't mean you won't face struggles. Every king in history faced battles, betrayals, and failures. But what made them different was their mindset. They looked at challenges not as reasons to quit, but as opportunities to grow stronger. One of the best ways to build a kingly mindset is through discipline. Think of your mind as a warrior. If you don't train a warrior, he becomes weak and fearful. But if you train him daily, he becomes sharp, brave, and unstoppable. Discipline in your thoughts works the same way. When negative thoughts enter your mind, don't let them sit there. Challenge them. Replace them with empowering thoughts. For example, instead of saying, I will never succeed, say, I may not be there yet, but I'm learning and growing every day. This simple shift in thinking builds your inner strength. Another powerful tool is gratitude. You may not have a castle, but you do have blessings in your life, your health, your family, your abilities, your freedom to make choices. A king appreciates what he already has while still working toward more. When you practice gratitude, your mind starts to see abundance instead of scarcity. And when you see abundance, you feel powerful. Confidence also plays a big role in mastering your mindset. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It means believing in your own worth. A king doesn't need to prove himself to everyone. He simply knows who he is and what he stands for. You can build this confidence by setting small goals and achieving them. Every small victory is like polishing your crown. It reminds you that you are capable, and it prepares you for bigger challenges. Now here's something important. A king doesn't rule alone. He has advisors and loyal people around him. Similarly, your mindset is shaped by the people you spend time with. If you surround yourself with negativity, gossip, and people who drag you down, your mind will absorb their energy. But if you surround yourself with dreamers, believers, and people who encourage you, your mind will expand with possibility. Protect your inner circle like a king protects his castle walls. Let's also talk about self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters more than the way anyone else speaks to you. You are with yourself 24/7. Imagine if your closest advisor kept saying, "You're weak, you're nothing, you'll fail." How long would you keep him around? Yet many of us allow our own inner voice to talk to us this way. Living like a king means becoming your own strongest supporter. Talk to yourself with respect, with encouragement, and with belief. Another part of mastering your mindset is vision. A king always has a vision for his kingdom. Without vision, people perish. The same is true for your life. If you wake up every day without a purpose, you will feel lost, no matter how comfortable your life may be. But if you have a clear vision, whether it's to build a career, raise a strong family, contribute to society, or achieve personal excellence, you will carry yourself like a king who knows where he is leading his kingdom. Write down your vision. Keep it clear. Look at it daily. Let it guide your actions. Finally, remember that kings are human too. They make mistakes. They fall. But what makes them great is their ability to rise again. Don't be afraid of failure. Every failure is just another step toward growth. Every setback is training for your next victory. When you adopt this mindset, you stop fearing life and instead, you start ruling it. So step 1 is simple but powerful. Master your mindset. Guard your thoughts like a king guards his throne. Discipline your mind with positive habits. Surround yourself with empowering people. Build confidence through small victories. And above all, carry a vision so clear that nothing can distract you. When your mind is strong, your spirit is unshakable. And that is when you begin to live like a true king. Not in appearance, but in essence. The crown may be invisible, but the way you live will shine brighter than gold. Step 2. Build self-respect, the throne of dignity. If the crown represents your mindset, then the throne represents your self-respect. A king may lose wealth, soldiers, or even battles, but as long as he holds on to his dignity, he remains a true ruler. Without self-respect, even the most powerful person feels small. With self-respect, even someone with little can carry himself like royalty. So what exactly is self-respect? It's the way you value yourself, the boundaries you set, and the standards you refuse to lower. It is not arrogance, and it is not pride. It is knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone, including yourself, treat you as less than you deserve. When you build self-respect, you don't have to demand respect from others. They see it in the way you carry yourself, in the choices you make, and in the life you live. The first step to self-respect is keeping your word. A king's word is his bond. When he speaks, his people believe him because he follows through. In your own life, that means making promises only when you mean them, and then keeping them no matter how small. If you tell yourself you'll wake up early, do it. If you commit to finishing a task, don't quit halfway. Every time you keep your word, you build trust in yourself, and that trust becomes the foundation of self-respect. The second step is setting boundaries. Too many people live like servants in their own lives because they allow others to control them. A king does not let anyone walk into his throne room and disrespect him. Similarly, you must set clear limits with people who take advantage of you. Say no when you need to. Walk away from situations that insult your dignity. Remember, the more you tolerate disrespect, the weaker your throne becomes. But the more you protect your boundaries, the stronger your kingdom of self-respect grows. Next comes how you present yourself. A king doesn't need to wear diamonds every day, but he always presents himself with dignity. That means standing tall, looking people in the eye, and speaking with clarity. Your body language often speaks louder than your words. If you slouch, avoid eye contact, or speak timidly, you send a message of insecurity. But if you carry yourself with confidence and calm authority, people treat you differently because you treat yourself differently first. Another powerful aspect of self-respect is self-discipline. Respecting yourself means not giving in to every temptation or lazy habit. Think of a king who spends all day drinking and ignoring his duties. Eventually, his people will lose respect for him. The same happens in life. If you constantly procrastinate, indulge in harmful habits, or break your own standards, you weaken your own throne. But when you discipline yourself, whether it's waking up early, exercising, learning new skills, or staying true to your values, you build a kingdom of strength inside you. Self-respect also requires self-care. Many people think kingship is about taking care of others, but a wise king knows that he cannot lead if he is broken inside. Respecting yourself means making time for your health, your rest, and your personal growth. It means eating well, sleeping enough, and keeping your mind sharp. It also means giving yourself forgiveness when you make mistakes, instead of constantly tearing yourself down. Let's not forget integrity. Kings throughout history were remembered not for their riches, but for their character. A man or woman with integrity earns natural respect from everyone. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It means staying true to your principles even if it costs you something. When you have integrity, you may not always win in the short term, but you win in the long term. People trust you, admire you, and treat you like a true leader. Now here's a truth that many people forget. You teach others how to treat you. If you constantly accept disrespect, lies, or neglect, people will assume it's okay. But if you stand firm and show them through your actions that you will not tolerate such treatment, they adjust. This doesn't mean being rude or aggressive. It means carrying yourself with quiet strength. You don't need to shout to be respected. A king's presence alone is enough to command it. Finally, remember that self-respect is not about perfection. It's not about being flawless or always getting it right. It's about consistency, growth, and strength of character. You will make mistakes, but when you respect yourself, you learn from them instead of allowing them to destroy your confidence. You pick yourself up, adjust your crown, and sit back on your throne with more wisdom than before. So step 2 is about building your throne of dignity. Keep your word. Set strong boundaries. Carry yourself with confidence. Discipline your actions. Take care of your body and mind. Live with integrity and never settle for less than the respect you deserve. When you do this, you won't just feel like a king. You will become one in the eyes of everyone around you. Not because of wealth or titles, but because of the way you honor yourself. And when you respect yourself, the world has no choice but to follow. Step 3, create financial independence. The treasure of freedom. Every king has a treasury. Without resources, even the greatest ruler cannot protect his land, build his vision, or enjoy the fruits of life. But here's the truth most people miss. Living like a king is not about hoarding mountains of gold. It is about financial independence, the freedom to make choices without being chained to debt, desperation, or dependence on others. Money is not everything, but without control over it, you will always feel like a servant instead of a ruler in your own life. Financial independence begins with a shift in mindset. Many people treat money like a mystery, or worse, like an enemy. They either chase it endlessly or fear they'll never have enough. A king, however, understands that money is simply a tool, not the master. When you learn to respect money and control it, instead of letting it control you, you start to experience true power. The first step toward this independence is living below your means. A king doesn't need to waste gold to prove his worth. He builds wealth by being wise, not by showing off. In your life, that means resisting the urge to buy things just to impress others. It means saving, investing, and using money for stability and growth instead of endless consumption. A king invests in his kingdom's future, not just in today's pleasures. The second step is building multiple sources of income. Imagine a kingdom that relies on only one crop. If that crop fails, the people starve. The same principle applies to your finances. If you depend on only one job or one paycheck, you are vulnerable. But if you build skills, side businesses, or investments, you create streams of income that keep flowing even if one slows down. This doesn't happen overnight, but every small effort, learning a new skill, starting a small project, or saving for investments, adds to your treasury. Another important principle is avoiding unnecessary debt. A king who owes his throne to others is not truly free. Debt is a modern form of slavery when used recklessly. Of course, some debts, like investing in education or building a business, can be strategic. But borrowing to live beyond your means only weakens your freedom. Living like a king means taking control of your finances instead of letting lenders and credit cards control you. Financial independence also requires discipline in saving and investing. A wise king doesn't spend all his gold. He stores some for the future and uses some to grow more. The same is true for you. Saving is your defense, investing is your offense. Save for emergencies so that unexpected storms don't shake your kingdom. Then invest in things that grow, whether it's education, property, or businesses. Over time, your treasury grows stronger, giving you peace of mind and security. But let's be clear, financial independence is not about greed. It's about freedom. Freedom to make choices, to spend time with your loved ones, to pursue your passions, to travel, to give, and to live without fear. Think about it. How many people stay stuck in jobs they hate, relationships they don't want, or lifestyles they cannot afford simply because money holds them hostage? A king doesn't live like that. He uses money as a tool to build the life he chooses, not the life he is forced into. Another part of financial independence is financial education. Many people avoid learning about money, thinking it's too complicated, but ignorance is the quickest way to poverty. A king understands his treasury, his taxes, and his economy. You too must learn the basics: budgeting, investing, compound growth, and money management. The more you learn, the more control you gain. Knowledge is the key that unlocks financial freedom. And don't forget the power of generosity. A king who only takes but never gives eventually loses the love of his people. Similarly, money has little meaning if it's only for yourself. When you are financially stable, you gain the ability to help others, to support causes you care about, and to make a difference. This not only strengthens your community, but also strengthens your sense of purpose. True kings are remembered not for how much they kept, but for how much they gave. Now here's the heart of this step. Financial independence gives you confidence and dignity. When you don't have to beg for help, when you don't have to fear the next bill, when you know you have enough to take care of yourself and your loved ones, you walk taller. You speak with authority. You make decisions based on vision, not fear. That is what it means to live like a king. So step 3 is about building your treasure of freedom. Live below your means. Build multiple streams of income. Avoid unnecessary debt. Save wisely, invest smartly, and educate yourself about money. And when you achieve stability, use your wealth to create joy not only for yourself but for others. A crown without treasure is fragile, but when your financial independence grows, your throne becomes unshakable. And then you will realize living like a king isn't about being rich, it's about being free. Perfect. Here's step 4 of how to live like a king. Step 4, take care of your health, the kingdom of vitality. A king may own castles, gold, and armies, but if his health fails, all of it becomes meaningless. What good is treasure if you don't have the strength to enjoy it? What use is a throne if your body can't carry you through your duties? That's why the foundation of a king's power is not wealth or status. It is vitality. To live like a king, you must treat your health as the greatest kingdom you will ever rule. Think of your body as your royal palace. If you neglect it, the walls crumble, the floors weaken, and invaders, diseases, fatigue, and stress find their way inside. But if you maintain it, clean it, and protect it, your palace becomes a fortress. And unlike material wealth, health is something you cannot simply buy back once it's lost. Every choice you make today, what you eat, how you move, how you rest, either strengthens or weakens your kingdom of vitality. The first step to ruling your health is nutrition. Imagine a king feeding his army with spoiled food. Would they have the energy to defend the land? Of course not. In the same way, if you constantly fuel your body with junk food, processed sugar, or empty calories, you are weakening your inner army. To live like a king, you must feed yourself like royalty. Fresh fruits, vegetables, clean proteins, whole grains, and water. Food is not just pleasure, it is medicine. The way you eat determines the strength of your energy, the clarity of your mind, and the length of your reign in this life. The second step is movement. A king cannot lead from bed all day. He must walk among his people, ride into battle, and stand tall in the face of challenges. You don't need to be a warrior to understand this. You need to be active. Exercise is not just about looking fit. It is about building stamina, resilience, and confidence. Whether it's walking, running, lifting, or practicing yoga, movement is your weapon against weakness. A strong body houses a strong spirit. The third step is rest and recovery. Many people push themselves until they burn out, believing rest is weakness. But even a king needs to retreat to his chambers, to restore his mind and body before returning to his duties. Sleep is not laziness, it is strategy. A well-rested mind is sharper, a well-rested body is stronger, and a well-rested spirit is more courageous. Respect your sleep as much as your work, because without it, your kingdom will crumble. Next comes mental health. A king with a troubled mind cannot rule wisely. Stress, anxiety, and depression are like hidden invaders that weaken your throne from within. That's why taking care of your mental health is just as important as physical health. Practice mindfulness, meditation, or simply spend quiet moments reflecting on your blessings. Protect your peace by avoiding unnecessary drama, toxic environments, and negative people. Guard your mental space the way a king guards his crown. Another key to vitality is balance. A king knows when to fight battles and when to celebrate victories. Similarly, you must balance work with joy, effort with relaxation, and ambition with gratitude. Too much stress without joy is poison. Too much pleasure without discipline is destruction. True royalty lives with balance, making time for health, relationships, growth, and happiness. Don't forget regular checkups and care. Even the strongest kingdom needs inspection of its walls and gates. Many people ignore small signs of illness until they grow into major problems. Living like a king means being proactive, not careless. Visit your doctor, get checkups, and listen to your body. Prevention is far easier than cure. Finally, remember this. Your health is a gift, but also a responsibility. A king doesn't just keep himself strong for his own sake. He does it for his people, for his duties, and for his legacy. In the same way, when you take care of your health, you not only live longer and stronger, but you also become a source of strength for your loved ones. Your children, family, and community look up to you. By protecting your vitality, you inspire them to protect theirs. So step 4 is clear. Guard your health as the most precious kingdom you will ever rule. Eat like royalty, move like a warrior, rest like a wise leader, and protect your mental peace like a crown. When your health shines, everything else, wealth, respect, and purpose, feels more meaningful. Because at the end of the day, living like a king is not just about ruling others. It's about ruling yourself. And nothing proves that more than mastering the kingdom of your own vitality. Step 5. Surround yourself with loyal people, the kingdom's strength. No king rules alone. Behind every powerful ruler stands a circle of trusted advisors, loyal soldiers, and devoted companions. Even the strongest king would fall if surrounded by betrayal, dishonesty, or weak support. In the same way, if you want to live like a king in your own life, you must carefully choose the people in your kingdom. The strength of your circle determines the strength of your reign. Think about this. Your environment shapes your mindset more than you realize. If you spend time with negative, toxic, or lazy people, their energy becomes yours. They drag you into gossip, complaints, and small thinking. But when you surround yourself with loyal, motivated, and uplifting individuals, they push you higher. They challenge you to grow, they remind you of your strength, and they stand beside you when life tests you. That is what a true kingly circle looks like. The first step in building this circle is loyalty. A king cannot afford to keep traitors in his castle. Loyalty doesn't mean blind agreement. It means people who stick with you through ups and downs, who support your growth, and who want the best for you. Ask yourself, do the people around me truly wish me well, or do they only stay for their own benefit? If you want to live like a king, cut ties with those who betray your trust, and keep close those who prove their loyalty through action, not just words. The second step is inspiration. Kings often had wise advisors who helped them see beyond their own perspective. Similarly, you need people in your circle who inspire you, who are smarter in certain areas, who push you to think bigger. If you're the smartest or strongest person in your group, you've outgrown your circle. Real kings don't fear standing beside greatness. They welcome it because it strengthens their kingdom. The third step is mutual respect. In a healthy kingdom, respect flows both ways. A wise king does not treat his people as tools, and loyal people do not treat their king as a servant. Likewise, in your personal circle, there must be balance. True friends and companions respect your boundaries, your values, and your time, and you respect theirs. This mutual honor creates harmony in your kingdom. Another key element is support during battles. Anyone can cheer for a king when the throne is secure, the feast is grand, and the victory is near. But true loyalty is proven when the kingdom is under attack. In your life, you'll know who belongs in your circle not by who celebrates your success, but by who stands with you in struggle. The ones who comfort you, defend you, and encourage you when you feel broken, those are your loyal soldiers. But here's something just as important. You must also be loyal. A king who demands loyalty without giving it back eventually loses his people. To live like a king, you must show up for your circle, keep their trust, celebrate their wins, and be there in their struggles. Loyalty is not one-sided. It is the strongest when it flows both ways. Let's not forget removing toxic influences. A wise king does not allow spies, traitors, or greedy hands inside the castle. Similarly, you cannot allow toxic people to poison your peace. If someone constantly belittles you, manipulates you, or uses you, they don't belong in your kingdom. It may be painful to let go, but clearing out disloyalty makes space for true loyalty to enter. Another part of surrounding yourself with the right people is mentorship. Every king has mentors, those who came before, those who teach wisdom. Find people you can learn from, whether through books, teachers, or experienced individuals. A mentor's wisdom can save you years of mistakes and guide you through the darkest challenges. At the same time, every king also has those he guides and protects. In your life, this means being a source of inspiration for others, your children, your friends, your team, or your community. Living like a king isn't just about surrounding yourself with strength. It's about becoming a source of strength for others too. Finally, remember that your kingdom is only as peaceful as the relationships within it. Treasure those who stand by you, whether they are friends, family, or partners. A king who neglects his people eventually loses their loyalty. Show appreciation, express gratitude, build relationships based on honesty and trust. This makes your kingdom unshakable. So step 5 is about building the kingdom's strength through people. Choose loyalty over betrayal, inspiration over negativity, respect over disrespect, and support over abandonment. Be loyal yourself, remove toxic influences, learn from mentors, and give back to those who look up to you. When your circle is strong, you become stronger. When your kingdom is filled with loyalty and respect, you walk with the confidence of a true king. Because no matter how powerful you are alone, a king is never truly a king without his people. Step 6. Lead with purpose. Living like a king is not about wearing a crown, sitting on a throne, or commanding armies. A real king is not remembered only for his wealth or the size of his palace, but for his purpose, the mission that gave meaning to his existence. If you want to live like a king, you must learn to lead with purpose. Purpose is what separates a ruler from a tyrant, a leader from a boss, and a king from an ordinary man. Without purpose, life is empty, no matter how much gold you own or how much applause you receive. With purpose, even simple actions feel royal, powerful, and significant. Think about the greatest kings and leaders in history. They all had one thing in common. They lived for something bigger than themselves. They served their people, defended their lands, protected their families, and built legacies that lasted long after their time. Their names live on not because they collected riches, but because they lived with a mission that touched the lives of others. This is the kind of leadership you must embrace if you want to live like a king in your own life. So what does leading with purpose mean in your daily life? It starts with asking yourself a simple but powerful question. Why am I here? Not in a philosophical or confusing way, but in a practical sense. Why are you here in your family? Why are you here in your career? Why are you here in your community? A king does not drift through life waiting for someone else to define his role. He claims his purpose and lives it fully. If your purpose is your family, then be the protector, provider, and guide they need. Make your spouse feel loved. Make your children feel safe, and create an environment where they can grow. A king builds a castle not only of stone, but also of love, trust, and security. If your purpose is your career, then lead with passion, honesty, and dedication. Be the one others look to for inspiration, the one who sets the standard. If your purpose is a cause, maybe helping the less fortunate, protecting the environment, or sharing knowledge, then commit yourself to it fully. The size of your purpose doesn't matter. What matters is your commitment to live for something greater than just your own comfort. Leading with purpose also means that you carry yourself with vision. A king doesn't just think about today. He thinks about tomorrow, next year, and even the generations that will follow. Living with purpose requires long-term thinking. You may not see all the results of your mission today, but you plant seeds that will grow later. A father who works hard to give his children a better life may not always see gratitude immediately, but his purpose builds a future of strength for his family. A teacher may not know how far his students will go, but his purpose creates ripples of influence. But here's the truth. Living with purpose isn't always easy. It requires sacrifice. A king doesn't always do what's comfortable. He does what's necessary. Purpose-driven living might mean giving up short-term pleasures to stay true to your mission. It might mean standing firm when others doubt you or criticize you. It might mean walking a lonely road sometimes. But remember, a king does not bend to every opinion. A king leads, even when it is difficult, because his purpose is bigger than his fears. Another key to leading with purpose is service. A true king does not live only for himself. He uses his power and influence to serve. The same is true for you. Whether you're in a family, a team, or a community, your purpose is tied to the people around you. When you serve others not out of weakness, but out of strength, you become a leader. People respect. Think about it. A king who ignores his people may rule by force, but he is not loved. A king who listens, serves, and uplifts his people creates loyalty that lasts forever. So how do you find and live your purpose? Start small. Reflect on what gives your life meaning. Ask yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? What would I fight for? What can I give that goes beyond myself? Once you know your mission, take daily actions aligned with it. If your purpose is your family, be present at dinner, encourage your children, and support your spouse. If your purpose is your career, show up every day with excellence, not just for the paycheck, but for the big picture you're building. If your purpose is a cause, volunteer, contribute, and lead initiatives that matter. When you live with purpose, you no longer waste time comparing yourself with others. You stop being jealous of another person's crown because you realize your purpose is your kingdom. Your mission makes you unique, and no one else can fulfill it the way you can. That's the royal mindset. Finally, leading with purpose means leaving behind a legacy. A king doesn't just think about his reign. He thinks about the kingdom that will continue after him. Ask yourself, when I'm gone, what will people remember? What impact will my life have left? If you lead with purpose, your story will inspire others, even when you are no longer here. So remember this: a king's wealth, power, and fame fade with time, but his purpose is eternal. When you live for something greater than yourself, you rise above ordinary living. You live like a king not because of what you own, but because of the mission that drives you, the vision that guides you, and the legacy you leave behind. Step 7. Enjoy life's luxuries in your own way. Living like a king isn't just about power, wealth, or status. True royalty comes from the ability to enjoy life's luxuries in your own way. It's not about golden palaces, diamond rings, or fancy cars. It's about creating moments of joy, comfort, and freedom that nourish your soul. A king understands that life is meant to be experienced, savored, and celebrated. And the same principle applies to you. Living like a king means taking the time to enjoy life every single day. Let's start with the simple pleasures. A king doesn't ignore the beauty around him. He notices the morning sun, the aroma of fresh food, the sound of birds singing in his garden. In your life, it's the same. Enjoy a peaceful morning with a cup of tea, take a slow walk, or sit quietly with a loved one. These moments are small, but they build a life of comfort and satisfaction. You don't need wealth to feel like a king. You need awareness and appreciation. Food is another luxury often overlooked. A king takes pride in what he eats. A good meal is not just nutrition, it's an experience. Cook a meal you love, savor the flavors, and enjoy it without rushing. Whether it's a simple home-cooked dish or a special treat at the restaurant, take the time to appreciate it. Eating well nourishes your body and gives you energy to conquer your day. That's a kingly approach to living. Travel and exploration are also part of enjoying life like a king. A ruler doesn't confine himself to one corner of his kingdom. He explores new lands, meets new people, and experiences different cultures. In your life, you don't have to travel the world to feel this freedom. Even a day trip, a hike, or visiting a nearby town can refresh your mind and inspire your spirit. Adventure and curiosity are luxuries you can afford, even in a simple lifestyle. Quality time with loved ones is perhaps the greatest luxury of all. A king doesn't rule alone. He values his family, friends, and allies. Spend time with those who lift you up, share laughter, and create memories with you. Celebrate small victories together. Support each other through challenges, and make these moments count. Life is fleeting, and a king understands the importance of cherishing the people who make his life meaningful. Another way to enjoy life's luxuries is by pursuing your passions. A king doesn't live a life dictated solely by duty. He invests in what brings him joy. Whether it's painting, writing, music, or sports, make time for the activities that light you up. These passions are your personal treasures, and enjoying them regularly is a mark of true royalty. Freedom is the ultimate luxury. A king has the authority to make choices in his kingdom, and you have the power to make choices in your life. Live on your terms. Decide how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you focus on. Freedom allows you to create a life that aligns with your values and your desires. It's a luxury that cannot be bought, only earned through self-discipline, purpose, and vision. Living like a king also means balancing indulgence with responsibility. You can enjoy luxuries without losing control of your life. Treat yourself occasionally, but don't let pleasure turn into excess. A wise king knows when to celebrate and when to stay disciplined. Similarly, enjoy your luxuries mindfully. Appreciate them, savor them, and return to your daily responsibilities with gratitude. Finally, remember that luxuries are personal. One person's luxury may be another's necessity. Define what makes you feel royal in your own life and honor it. It could be a morning walk, a warm bath, reading a book, or even a quiet moment alone. When you embrace these luxuries, you live fully, joyfully, and like a king in your own right. So step 7 is about enjoying life's luxuries in your own way. Notice the beauty around you, savor your meals, explore new experiences, spend time with loved ones, follow your passions, and cherish your freedom. These small but meaningful pleasures are the true treasures of life. When you incorporate them into your daily routine, you don't just live, you reign over your own kingdom of joy. Living like a king is not about titles, riches, or appearances. It's about the way you carry yourself, the choices you make, and the life you create. It's about building self-respect, achieving financial independence, taking care of your health, surrounding yourself with loyal people, leading with purpose, and enjoying life's luxuries in your own way. Each step strengthens your throne. Each action shapes your kingdom, and each decision defines your legacy. Remember, a true king rules himself before he rules the world. Start today. Honor yourself, protect your energy, invest in your future, and live intentionally. Don't wait for permission or for the perfect moment. Your reign begins now. When you commit to these principles, you won't just feel like a king, you will inspire those around you. Lead with confidence, and create a life that others admire. If you enjoyed this guide and want more motivation, inspiration, and practical life lessons, subscribe to Mind-Blowing Motive. Stay connected, learn how to grow your mind, and discover the keys to living your best life every single day. Your kingdom awaits. Claim it and live like the king you were meant to be.